All right, so what you would do is you grab your marquee tool here, which just looks like the dotted square, and you can actually right click in this and pick, do you want it to be an elliptical, a single row marquee, a single column marquee, or a rectangle marquee. I just grab a rectangle marquee, or you can grab the lasso tool underneath it. The polygonal lasso tool is great too, so you can just grab it in freehand. So say like I wanted to remove this dirt area, I don't like it, I can just click, 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 grab, and complete my circle. You see it made like a little circle at the bottom there saying, oh, that's, you're connecting the dots. Gives me marching ants, and it also throws this box down here. It says generative fill. So in here, if you just wanted it removed, you don't have to hit anything. You just hit delete and then enter and run, and it's going to know to get rid of whatever that is that you've boxed out.
Okay, I have all that up, but where do you find delete? If
if you wanted to,
selected what I want to.
then you would just come in this little box that says generative fill and click.
Oh, there you click.
And then just hit backspace and then enter. And then it does it for you. And it takes a second, it's gonna generate. And so it's sitting here like, okay, all right. And it's gonna give you 3 options of what it thinks you want. And you can click through and figure out which one you like the best. This is one way of removing things that's really great. Now the problem with this exact function of letting it generate and fill, it's going to be at a lower resolution than your camera. So if you go pixel peep this or blow it up big, you're gonna see whatever it is, right? So
How do I get on the slot?
oh, connect the dots, connect it back to its original.
I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't. I don't know where the original is.
Oh, X don't save, and just reopen it. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
This is still trying to generate. There. Oh.
Mine did.
My internet's not responding.
Oh, you did.
It did yours?
Yep.
Check your internet and try again. What the heck?
There's something down there by the water, and I just selected it, and now it's gone.
Cool. That easy. There's also this great in the newer, my laptop's considered a relic and it will not update anymore, but in the newest Photoshop update, there's a remove tool, and it's great. That is what you would use over this generative fill, because it is actually using the same resolution of your picture to remove, you know what I mean, to replace or remove, so it's less visible. So see how it did this? It already added grass and like a plant for me. And so there's one option, there's one option, and there's one option. So do I like any of those? Because I didn't like that dirt path. You know what I mean? So you could do something just simple like that, right? And if you do like it, it just threw it over on another layer on top of your main layer right here in the layers palette. And if you do like it, you can just, I think it's right. You can collapse these. Oh, merge, just merge visible, and it squishes them together.
Wow.
And that looks great, right? And it looks better than that little worn dirt path. And so got that, great, awesome. Perfect. So that's how that works real quick. And then if you just hit X, because you opened this from Lightroom and into Photoshop, and they're both Adobe, all you have to do is hit X and then just hit save, and it will save it back into your Lightroom. So now you can, and now you can just
You hit what?
just hit X and save.
Would you show me how you got back there? I mean, went to Photoshop.
I'm
Yeah,
File save.
you can, yep.
Okay.
Oh, is
Because I
it
don't
not
have
moving
that.
in there? Did I lie? Did I not put it back in my folder? Didn't do it. Okay, well, it did in my main folder. Weird. Usually it puts it right back in here. Maybe it's because this internet's being all funky. Alright. But that's how you would remove. Just something very easy and simple to just take out, like that styrofoam box, just marquee around it, go in that box, and and then just let it, it'll fill grass blades in
How
there.
do you get to the Adobe?
From Lightroom to Photoshop, you just right click on your photo in Lightroom, and then just say edit in and hit
Okay.
Photoshop. Alright.
And then how do you get back to Lightroom?
It should when you X out.
I saved it.
Okay, and then as soon as you hit it, oh my my word. Pandemonium. Okay, as soon as you X out of that little corner right there, like that, yeah, right, that little tiny X, it should X out of that one too. Or just hit X over here.
Okay.
And it should throw that back in your Lightroom.
Yep, there I am.
There you are.
Okay.
Perfect. Did it remove it? What you were looking to remove? Yep.
That's right there.
Perfect.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Hers did it.
Yeah, but it all changes.
Okay, so now that I've removed it, what do I do?
You just hit save and then or Control S. Control S is a shortcut key. And then that will save it. Are you Mac?
Good question.
You look like a Mac. Are you a Mac? No. No, you're not. Okay, so Control S should have saved it. And then you just X out of Photoshop. Okay. And then once you X out, it should, because you opened it out of Lightroom, so it should, as soon as you X, it's down. There you go. And now it should be in here.
No, thank you.
Yep. That's it.
I had 2 donuts, that's enough.
Oh,
Have a dessert.
it worked. See?
Disappeared.
Sweet. Woohoo. Cool. Okay.
I think she disappeared you. I think it was you, she disappeared.
All right, so I'm going to show you HDR editing real quick. So HDR, I was showing you how to take the 3 pictures and then we're going to blend them together. So I'm going to make sure I reset this photo that I was editing on.
I saw HDR on here, but now I don't see it.
Oh, we don't have to worry about that
Oh,
because we're
okay.
going to do it ourselves here.
Oh,
So
okay.
these are my 3 pictures that I took. This is my light, my dark, my regular, my dark, and my light. So here's all 3 of my pictures.
Do you do like a signal before you start shooting them to let so you'll remember where you started
I do. There's times where I will do this.
Something?
You will see a lot of times where I stick my hand in a photo, and that's my cue in my film strip to grab the photos between my fingers and to use those. So I do cue myself a lot. So I just remember I was like, oh, I'm gonna take an HDR real quick for y'all. So I just remember my first 3 HDRs. So here's my 3 pictures that I didn't move on the tripod. I just, they're on a tripod. The only thing I changed was the shutter speed, and I took 3 bracketed shots. So you click the first one, and then you shift click to grab all 3, and then you just hit control click or right click and come in here. It says photo merge HDR. Okay, and you click that, and then this is going to bring up this little HDR preview box, and you see over here it says deghosting. This is the deghost amount. When you're outside, stick that on high because leaves are moving, blades of grass are moving, and it's going to try to put them all back together the best it can. If you try to say none, it's going to cause a lot of fringing issues where you're going to have like see-through overlapping grass blades and weird effects. Where I would use none is on interior real estate shots because I shoot HDR on all my interior real estate shots, so I don't use any deghosting because nothing moves on the inside. So and it does take a second. Like I said, I have a relic, so. I do like to have it do the auto settings and auto align and just make sure it's getting everything I can make it do for me. And it's also going to create a stack. I have that checked too. So it's going to take those 3 photos and the photo that it creates with it and kind of layer them all in one little pile so that way I don't have a film strip of process. So there's my HDR image. And it's showing you what it's going to look like after I merge them. So you saw what my regular looked like, was kind of flat, and then I had my really bright, and I had my really dark. And when you can blend all 3 of those together, it creates the dynamic range that your eyeball can see that a camera can't pick up. So it's a very great technique.
I'm glad you're recording this because it's going to have to go
Good.
step by step.
It's going to be in a 2-part video since I had to turn on my wife's
little interruption there.
So it does take a minute. You can see up here there's your little status bar where it's trying. It's creating. And so from there, I can even do the same thing. I can take my preset that I created and I can add that on top of this. So I can straight up just go in here and cheat code it. Nope, that is not mine. This is mine. There we go. And add my glowy little vibrant effect, and now I'm done. See?
Or we could have just gone straight to that, right?
So yeah, that's HDR. Panorama was the next thing we did. So same concept. I went and I did bump. I liked my compression that I was getting by having a more zoomed in lens, but I couldn't get everything in one frame. So I went through and I did a sequence like this. Okay. So.
And you just literally moved your.
Just a third, because I had my rule of thirds going, and I just really moved it a third of a frame every time.
Okay.
And so then all you do is you same thing, grab, shift click the last one, right click, photo merge, panorama, same menu. It gives you 3 options here as well on the preview: spherical, cylindrical, and perspective. They're just different warps that you can see how they function. Some projections will not work with certain scenes. Like it may say spherical is not a possibility. But now you can see I got my lens compression, and now I have a good landscape oriented photo by taking 5 vertical pictures. This also took this from being just taking it like this at a wide angle lens at a 50 megapixel. Now I've created a 250 megapixel image. So it's a huge file size. So maybe I don't like spherical. Let's see what cylindrical can do. And see it, so it kind of stretched it a little. Now let's see what perspective can do. And then it kind of had a little wide angle warp to it. And so you can play with what you like and what looks good to you. I kind of like cylindrical because I like a little bit more height to it. And then you just hit merge when you're done. And again, it's going to create a stack. It's going to take those 5 images, 6 images. It's going to stack them all together and stick my edited on top. So that way I'm not bogging up my phone strip with a bunch of clone photos. And up here's your progress bar. It's telling you how much longer you got. I was waiting game with my relic.
And then I want you to tell me how you export that.
That's exactly what I was going to do next, to show y'all exporting, because that's great. Yeah, you got to edit it. Now how do you get it out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To share with the world, because that's the whole point, right? You're not just taking pictures for yourself. You're taking pictures to share your art.
So Adobe did the same thing with my Mac. My iMac is a 27-inch that I fell in love with. I would marry it if I could.
Right.
And Adobe just timed it out. I mean, it's like it's too old to upgrade by 6 months.
Isn't it crazy?
Oh,
And it's just they're so expensive. It's ridiculous. Like, you want me to go drop $3,000 just because I can't update my photo? So now I've got my nice panorama here. Again, you can edit it however. I'm gonna go pop all my presets. So I bring out my sky. So I can call it a day if I wanted. Right? All right, so now to export. That's the biggest thing, right? So there's several ways in Lightroom you can right click on the photo and go up into export, right? And then export ... and that would bring up your export dialog box. You can go up here to file, export ... and then you see there's Adobe is all about shortcut keys. Graphic designers really work in the shortcut keys, so that way we never have to mess with the mouse most of the time. A lot of things we can do just from key cutting, So this means Shift Apple E or Shift Command E. Yours is probably gonna be Shift Control E on a PC. So there's 3 ways that you can export this photo to bring up a dialog box. So I'm just gonna hit export ... It brings up this box. You tell it where you want to export it to. I just tell it hard drive. You can export it to a specific folder, which is great, and then you pick your folder here. So I want it back in my external hard drive. It's for weekend retreats. It's the Wichita summer, and this is the edited. And I'm choosing that folder. All right, file naming. If you wanted to name it something like Pano whatever, you could. I don't ever custom name my stuff. I just keep it with the file number. Video, obviously we're not messing with. File settings. This is super important. This is what depends on what you're going to do with it. Are you only going to share it to social media? If that's what you're going to do, you want it to be a JPEG because Facebook can only read JPEGs. And you're going to want this to be sRGB. That is for web. That is sharper. That is the web best high output that you're going to get for web. Is
What if I want to print? Okay.
Print is Pro Photo RGB most of the time. Find out from your printer because your printer is going to have that specification in their frequently asked questions section. So whatever printing company you use, go and look on their frequently asked questions to see what file exporting they want. Sometimes they want Adobe RGB 1998. Sometimes my guy, he wants a Pro Photo RGB TIFF. So it just depends. Like the guy you got the print voucher for. Ed Cooley will want you to send him a Pro Photo RGB and a TIFF. With,
What do you mean?
TIFF. You would choose TIFF. It's a lossless file, so it's going to be a huge
The
file.
drop down below it.
Oh, it's
the
Pro Photo RGB, yep. And then compression none and 16 bits. That is how Ed Cooley will want his file for you guys.
Is that on that little certificate?
It is not, but when you email him to get the Dropbox link, he will tell you all that. But if just for future purposes, that's it. But if it's
What
just
if I wanted to print it myself?
printing yourself, you're going to need to see what your printers. It's all depending on your printer's gamut. Because
Okay.
sometimes you'll fall out of gamut. Like we edit in such high color space. There's so many colors, but printers can't read that, so they'll muddle it down. And so that's where you run into problems being like, this doesn't look right. Why? What's wrong with my photography? It's not. It's that the color spaces aren't matching up from the printer to your computer, and that's it. So if you're just doing social media, it's going to be a JPEG, sRGB. I only resize to fit when I'm doing real estate, so don't worry about resizing to fit. Make sure your resolution's at 300 pixels. That's just standard. Sharpening, again, if you're going to sharpen for screen, if I'm sharing it, I will sharpen for screen. If I'm putting this in a book, right, I'm printing this for like a photography book, then I'm sharpening for glossy paper, and it makes it extra sharp because you lose a lot of detail in printing. Like ink bleeds, and it kind of makes it muddly. And so I'll sharpen for glossy paper when I do that. I include all metadata. I don't add my watermark, and I do nothing after export. And then when you're ready and you got all those settings set, you just hit export, and it goes. And again, there's your progress bar at the top. It's telling you how much you're. Come on.
When would you add your watermark?
I typically don't add watermarks just because they're so easily to remove nowadays. And then
How do you create a watermark?
it depends. You can do it in Photoshop. You can do it in Illustrator. You can do it in just save it as a PNG file. And then if you wanted to add it on here, let me show you how. Oh, come on. X. Okay, so you would come here to where it says watermark. You would check that, and then you would drop down here and hit edit. And then you would just,
Where's that?
under here, under the export box, the export dialog box, underneath the watermarking drop down. Forget your DC. It's a little different. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, it's probably a graphic. And then you would add graphic, and you would grab your watermark, and then you can tell it where you want it. You want it to the center, to the bottom, to the right. You can place it, and then and that will always be checked unless you uncheck it. Mm-hmm. And so your watermark will every setting will stay the same after every export. So unless you go and change it, it'll always be exactly how you set it.
Okay.
So if you need to move it to a different folder, you need to make sure you change that in that box. Okay, you just hit export and let it go. And this is gonna take a minute.
You're like, thanks. Thanks a lot.
I was gonna walk you guys through a focus stack real quick, because I did a focus stack. So we don't really need to worry about this. Oh, come on, why are you being so finicky? Now, focus stacking is done in Photoshop. So you can't focus stack in Lightroom right now. I don't think you can in Luminar. Luminar has now made it where you can focus stack in the program, which is like, wow, I love Luminar. But Photoshop, you can do it too. And so it's no big deal. I know that this is my focus stack. I started after my finger shot, right? So I come in my film strip and I find that my file number, and it is 2987. I think I took 5 of these, and so it's going to end at 2991. So I've got 2987 to 2991. Just memory, 2987, 2991. I'm going to open up Photoshop. I'm going to go File, Scripts, Load File into Stack. And that's taking those 5 photos, and it's telling me what am I going to do. I'm going to browse, and I'm going to go grab those 5 photos. So that was 2987 to 2991. Boom, those 5. And I'm going to hit open. And so it's going to throw those 5. Okay, these are the 5 files you're going to put together. I'm going to attempt to automatically align source images. So if anything got out of wonk between those 5 images, it's going to attempt to realign them. I do not do this. I just hit that and hit OK.
Is the script something you created, or it's just?
Yeah, it's just part of Photoshop. It's just how you can get and load multiple. Like if you're gonna do star trails and you had 100 pictures, you would just do that, and it would throw those 100 pictures over here in your layers palette. So that way you can blend them together with the blend modes.
That's great. Would it work like little comments and things like that?
Yes, this is actually how I do meteor shower photography. So I'll find all the ones that have the meteors, and then I just grab those and put them in a script, and just load those shooting star images, and then just light and blend mode them, and they're all together. If you don't like one, like, because you can go through, you see there's like a little eyeball over here on each side. So if you can go through and click off each eyeball, because maybe there's like 2 or 3 that are all jumbly, like shooting stars, and you're like, I want to get rid of like this shooting star. You can figure out which layer he is and unclick his eyeball and make him disappear, so you can just see the other, and then get rid of him.
Oh my gosh.
So scripts are great. All right, so it's done its thing. It tried to automatically align them. You see it through my 5 pictures over here in the layers palette. Same kind of concept. I'm going to click one, and I'm going to shift and click the other, and it's kind of highlighted all of these. Go into edit, auto blend layers, click on stack, click seamless tones and colors. I do not let it content aware fill any areas for me because it looks funky and muddly, like it can't do that good of a job. And I just hit OK. And this is all on a focus stacking cheat sheet. You guys should have also gotten that same email with the HDR preset. You should also have this cheat sheet that's going to tell you how to walk through Photoshop with this. And same thing with the HDR, and I don't think I've done a panorama cheat sheet, but you do have the HDR cheat sheet, focus stacking cheat sheet.
I don't think I got that, so be sure and send that.
Yes, and just remind, if for some reason I forget, just remind me on
And
Monday.
what's it called?
The focus stacking cheat sheet, and the HDR glow preset, and the
Presets.
yes, and the HDR cheat sheet.
My printer didn't print the other one, better printed that.
Perfect, there it is.
So I got it. That's
Oh,
what I've
not
done.
by anything.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. So now,
Thank you.
yeah. So now you can see it's added a mask next to every single one of these pictures, and it has masked out what was blurry and kept what was
So if you're
focused.
doing it on windy day.
With full topper, it has a hard time. And so whenever I have a little bit of, like, breeze was blowing here and you can't really tell, my shutter speed was fast, so it was locking it, you know? So it did okay. The more pictures you can give it in a focus stack, the better off you're gonna be. So if you try to just stick to around 3, it's gonna have parts where it's blurry in all 3, to where it doesn't have a focus spot to blend in. So you're gonna have like a weird blurry spot, and everything will be focused with this one little blurry spot. So if you can give it like 5 or 7, or it doesn't have to be an odd number, 5, 6, 7, anything like that, the more it can work with, the better you're gonna have as a result. And so it went through and it did it all for me. So now I can come in here and I can pixel peep this, and I can see that my rock everything here is sharp. That's where the wind was blowing. Everything over here is sharp, and all my grass blades, all these rocks are sharp. My path up is sharp. Everything up here is sharp. So that's why focus stacking is so important, because now you've got a very sharp photo from front to back. And then if you like that, you can right click and do merge visible. Puts them all into one picture, so you can deal with one thing, one layer. And then I can zoom out. And then if I just want to work from here, I just go filter, camera raw filter, and that pops up those like Lightroom-like sliders for me, so I can do any kind of adjustment in Photoshop if I didn't want to take this back in. So I can go here, I can find my presets again. I get past all the Russian ones. Click my preset, everything's done. Okay, so now I have a focus shot that's been toned, and that took me, what, 2 minutes?
Shouldn't take me more than 3 hours.
It
that's
takes
what
me
I'm
3 days.
For one photo.
3 days.
Y'all will get this in no time. But yeah, now I'm done.
That's good.
I did. Just by luck, I got images, 9 or 10 images that I could use of a comet. It was unplanned, and I did the focus stacking. I did it. The merging by hand really took me about 9 hours, because that was, I didn't need to do anything else that day anyway. It was fun.
Yeah, it's
I
a
would never
learning
do it again.
experience.
I
Yeah.
would never do it again.
Exactly. And that's kind of, I went and took a workshop in Utah with this chick. She was awesome. She's a Sony ambassador. She's a major, she's always speaking at summits and things. She's amazing. But the reason I run workshops the way I do and feed you guys is because that woman did not let me eat for 24 hours. And I had no sleep. So I had no sleep and no food for 24 hours. I was not a happy camper. And on top of that, I had to edit. I had to go sit 3 hours in editing. And she didn't give any kind of quick way. She was a graphic designer too. So she liked to take the really hard way of doing everything. And so it was all in alpha channels and masking and da-da-da-da. And so you're running on no sleep. And she's not even, she's just giving you shortcut keys. Apple this, Apple G, Apple D, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I changed that to 47, hit enter, Apple D, and I'm just going, what am I even doing? And this was it took us 8 hours to edit one photo, 3 days, 3-hour sessions to get one photo done. And I was like, I'm never going to remember all these steps.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sleep deprived. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. So I'm creating presets. I'm going to create,
Thank you.
yes. I don't want to drag y'all through that. So,
It wouldn't help.
no.
I'm feeling a little hurt through already.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Post-processing's a lot. But when I get back, there's a couple of Lightroom classes that I have already that are pre-done out. I will send you guys the files. So it'll teach you how to import. It'll break down all those slider adjustments. It'll tell you how to export. And it's broken into 3 classes. So that way you can take it at your own leisure, right? You can get through class 1 and feel comfortable, and now I want to move into class 2 on the slider adjustments. Now I want to move into class 3 on how to export this correctly. And that'll walk you through all that, and that way you've got that done. So. Awesome. I wanted to take about half the time to show you guys some cool things, and then give you half the time to free play and ask me questions. So now is the time to let you guys kind of get through whatever you want to get through, and I can come by and answer any questions. So feel free. You're fine. And let me see.
So Brennan,
Yes.
whenever you shot the images for these, you did 5 images.
Uh-huh.
Did you? How did you alter the focus? I mean, did you go front to back?
I
or-
did. I would go front to back and I zigzag, like I do a Z.
Oh.
So yeah, so that way I've got a focus point in the very front here and a focus point kind of towards the front on this side, and then and so that way it's kind of zigzagging instead of going in a straight line because I'll miss things on the
Oh,
side.
that's great.
So and if you have touch
That's
screen,
great.
I was gonna say because like touch screen, I'll just sit there and touch where I want it on all my focus points, because it's touch screen focus.
You can do that with your 850. You've got touch screen, don't you, on your camera?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could
she
do that.
it.
Yeah, you can focus stack by touch screening your focus
Really?
points. Yep.
Oh.
And so that makes it even easier. So you don't have to like
Do all that
zoom
stuff.
in and fine tune it and zoom out, right? You don't do none of that. You can just be like, oh, deep, 6 pictures.
Yeah, you make that sound so easy.
That's all I did. And if you get into focus stacking, a lot of people will use what's called Helicon focus, or Helicon, Helicon, and it's like the Mac Daddy of focus stacking, But I don't do it enough to purchase a program just for focus stacking. I do it 6-7 times a year, so Photoshop's fine,
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Gosh, it is beautiful.
I'm about to save this actually, so I can use it as a look what we got on our trip
Yes.
shots.
Front. Yes.
Oh, what am I doing? Yes. What can I answer?
Well, I collected myself a
What?
I bought this new in this club reader,
Okay.
but it didn't bring regular screen.
Okay.
Now it's saying it can't read it.
Oh no.
I can import some of it. It's just kind of like everything's glitchy.
Oh, that's weird. Let me see real quick. Let's get this. Shaping and save, so we can just get that done. Okay.
And then I'm sure the rest was
Perfect. Open up lock and file.
I don't think these are we just took Fuji was this.
Mm-hmm.
We took them off and put them here.
Which is here.
Which is here.
Okay, yeah, another.
So now I can unplug
Yeah,
this.
you can unplug that. Yeah.
And it's this out.
Yeah, for sure. And you might have to, I can inject. Yeah, you should go for it.
So now is this coming off? I can put this back in the camera.
You can put it back in your camera, but I don't, it looked like it did drag it off. So you might check, I put it in your camera and just hit play and see. It may have dragged them all off, and it may have, mine still keeps them on there, so I think everybody's is a little different. Do you have a question? No? Oh yeah, it's the external. Okay, so now it's,
I downloaded these earlier,
okay.
and it's just, okay, it's not reading it.
You hit import. Could not read preview, that's when you hit import. It's just, the preview thumbnails take some time to load, and sometimes I don't know.
And then this comes up, files cannot be opened on.
Whoa, it's all those files.
Mm-hmm. And they're raw. I mean, it's, there's JPEGs in raw, but it's not even taking the ones. Like I said, plot and really used to mirror and then
So weird.
but now this card reader worked on her. Hers did it. That's the card reader.
So it sounds like it's an external issue. Like it's
Okay, this is what's
it has pictures in there.
Well, it says that, but then when you want to look at it.
No, it's still there. It's empty. So it's just saying it's on. It's reading into card one. Card slot one.
So- So then where is 2,176 raw?
I think I don't know.
Because that's what we just done.
Did you know what's down here? No, that's fine. Yeah, that's sad. 400, and I wasn't even taking that many pictures. You know, I was just getting content to show y'all how to edit, so it's easy to do.
So how do you switch it from card one to card two?
The only option on this is,
Save it to somewhere else. Yeah, if you got room for it on your computer, you can save it on your computer. So feel free to do that, because I just keep it off my computer because it'll, you know, run out of space eventually. But for like a one-time purpose, you'll be fine to get it in there if you need
yeah,
to.
well, I mean,